Welcome to Xbox Uncut, episode 234. This week, we're joined by a huge panel to talk about the world ending, because 2020 has been a bitch. And joining me on this adventure is Eric. Welcome to the show, Eric.
What's up? How's
You being here, you know the world's ending.
that's true. On time.
On time and everything. Man.
Craziness.
We also have The Rock, our center, Will. Welcome to the show, Will.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Keeping us on course.
Yeah, and very good pleasure to have Vern on as well. It's been a while, so it's great to have him on here, as well as the usual, Steph and Eric and all that,
You took away Dustin's announcer
my
privileges
intros,
just
man.
now, Will.
Just ripped him. Ripped him in my face.
You stole them.
But, sometimes Will wants to be the host, and, he is the center of the show. Like, when we go too crazy, Will's just lets us know.
Yes.
Maybe he did not like me introducing people, especially with the Doomsday beginning, I didn't know where to go with Eric, and, I'm always happy to have Eric here.
Yeah.
Eric, you're low for me. I gotta turn you up or something. I don't know. Yeah.
He's low for me.
Look,
too.
I have you at like 136%, Eric. I don't know what to do with you. So.
Wow, Mike.
It's in your beard again or some shit. That's what it's gonna be.
I think he's got it backwards.
Man. So video games, guys. This week, we didn't do a show last week. And it was like, let's just wait a day. Then fucking things just didn't line up. And fuck, it was like, fuck it, we'll just wait a week. And then Sony had, let's begin. Sony had a show. I'm gonna say I really enjoyed their show. I thought their show was awesome. They had a lot of good content, not a lot of new content or anything, but it was a great show. I think they actually had the best before console show period. For this launch lineup between Xbox and PlayStation.
I agree. I think it was the best COVID-19 presentation of this whole time period,
Yeah.
It was the best one.
But still, stop streaming it. Just upload it, for the love of... Oh.
I know. All the artifacting drove me
but,
crazy.
of course, always afterwards, watched all the 4K feeds. Fucking shit looked fantastic. Was it Demon Souls? Looked great. I know people.
Demon Souls. I was so surprised how good that game looks, and that was running at 60 frames per second on the YouTube video. It looks fantastic, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised because it's small environments, so they're able to fit in all those effects and crazy stuff to make it look beautiful. But that was impressive. That was really impressive.
Yeah.
Was there anything that stuck out to y'all about PlayStation?
It was. I agree with Dustin and Vern. It was quite good. It was just, the quality kind of was not that great, but they showed off a lot of impressive games. Demon Souls looked amazing.
We saw gameplay. A lot of gameplay.
Yeah, I like that the most.
We saw gameplay from Final Fantasy 16. We saw gameplay from Demon Souls. We saw gameplay from Call of Duty. We saw a big presentation for Miles, so it was a good show.
Yeah, it was
a good show. I would argue that after watching it, I like Spider-Man, but I kind of stopped. I was gonna pre-order a PS5, but after finding out a lot of those games was on PS4, I kind of just didn't care anymore.
Well, yeah.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to all that. Don't worry.
The show was great. We're talking about the show.
We're just talking about the show. We're taking this in order, sir. We're taking.
Well, let me just say this real quick. The show was cool and all, but I just didn't. There was nothing there that was I gotta pre-order the console except for Spider-Man. That's all I'm saying. Demon Souls, cool, that look good, but I don't want to play that hard ass shit. I want to play that.
That's a weird launch title.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, Demon Souls looks so good, bro."
Right?
That's the game that sold me. That's the game that sold me. I'm so surprised. I wasn't expecting it to.
No, but Vern,
You know, Eric not speaking says a million words to me.
Not a-
Is Eric breaking up for anybody else or just me?
breaking
Oh
up.
no, it was breaking up for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to make sure, just double checking, but yeah.
That was
There's
some nasty
just-
Discord.
So it says so much, Eric. It says so much.
Oh,
He dropped. He's probably rebooting his connection. Hopefully, we'll get him in. No, yeah, like I thought the show was really good. We had a lot of gameplay. Spider-Man looks really cool. It's probably the game I'm gonna pick up for launch on PlayStation 5. I'm
yeah,
not
I'm getting
100.
two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Spider-Man with the remaster, which we'll talk about later, and and Demon Souls.
Yeah. And then, man, I'm trying to think of what else they showed. So the Final Fantasy 16 being exclusive for, it looks like for a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's big news. Great RPG. Looks like they're going more classic, like kind of the look people have been wanting from Final Fantasy for a while.
Yeah. Is that not an action RPG?
Yeah, it's an action RPG.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
But
Well,
they're
when
going
is
back
it-
to crystals and shit like that, and like fucking,
Yeah.
it's kind of going back to like a realm people want to kind of revisit, which
I
I'm
got
happy
the full
about.
list here if we want to just discuss it real quickly.
Yeah.
We started with Final Fantasy 16, which we just kind of talked about. Looks pretty dope. And we know it's the Final Fantasy 14 team that's working on that game. And I can't think of his name right now, but the lead designer is the one who pretty much saved Final Fantasy 14. And Final Fantasy 14, I believe it's the Heavensward team who put the story together for Final Fantasy 16, and that's one of the best stories in Final Fantasy from what I hear. I am not familiar with it. So I think 16's in really, really good hands, you know?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of good creative team there.
So next one was Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah. Great looking game. Great looking game.
Which we talked about. The next one was Hogwarts Legacy,
That looks
which
cool.
is also coming to other consoles. So.
I know people
Yeah.
were like, I know there's the whole controversy with the the writer, but I thought the game looked cool. I
Wait, what controversy with the writer?
because the
I'm
characters
fucking- I'm
dresses.
fucking- I'm fucking.
Okay, that's a little sensitive. Stay away from that one.
It's like, how do I address this properly?
Let's not go there.
almost
Let's just
had him.
say, sometimes you got to separate the artist from the art. Like once the art is out there,
like-
it's its
like
own
R.
thing.
Kelly.
Yeah,
R. Kelly, when you listen
like-
to his music.
you can listen to his music, but you don't go piss on a child, But I
I don't listen to his music.
no.
Sound the same. Like they're literally the same chord progression. If you listen to "You Are Not Alone," "I Believe I Can Fly," "I Can't Sleep," there's like these are songs he wrote for other people, like, but they're all the same chord progression and almost the same exact melodies too.
It's because he doesn't know how to read or write or read music or write music.
Or know the age of the person he's next to.
Yeah, he can't read her driver's
I'm
license.
glad we pivoted just straight to R. Kelly.
All right, my bad. sorry, my bad.
It's like, oh, this one topic that you really can't touch, too new. R. Kelly, though, fine.
You can combine all his songs together. You can be like, "I believe I can fly. You are not alone. I can't sleep, babe." All three songs. They sound the same. They're the same songs. The dude has no creativity. But okay, I'm done talking about R. Kelly. I've done this in party chat multiple times, and my wife makes fun of me for it.
All right, what happened next, Vern?
Next, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War looks
Cool
awesome.
trailer. Yeah.
I'm down with that one, man. Like when the toy car came out and was going to blow up that plane, I was like, holy shit, this looks badass. And Maria, my wife, she was like, oh yeah, I'm in. So I'm down with that one.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, the presentation looked amazing. Like, it looks like a next-gen game already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what that 120 frames per second mode runs on the PS5, though. I think
That's
we're in
right.
for a rude awakening for these PS5 specs. I think it's going to be I think these Digital Foundry comparisons are going to be pretty brutal, but
Yeah.
keep it at that. So next, Resident Evil 8 Village, which that looked rough as shit. Looks cool, but it looked rough as far as the graphics. I don't know what y'all thought.
Yeah, I'm surprised the progress it's made is so little, like compared to. I mean, it hasn't been too long since the last presentation, but I was expecting it to a little bit more fluid, maybe some gameplay. But
Can I be honest? I think the remasters look better
yeah,
Yeah.
by like a mile.
hmm Next, after that, was Deathloop, which also looked like another downgrade from what we've seen in the past. I think
Yeah.
that looked like that game is in some trouble too, which would explain why it's a exclusive
Yeah.
and kind of leads to the story coming up soon.
Yeah.
After that, well, I don't know. Y'all want to talk about Deathloop? I'm sure no one here is like Deathloop.
Me personally, like I see a lot of people excited for it. I hope it pays off. Like I don't know.
I like the concept.
If it was coming to Game Pass, and maybe one day it will. Hint, hint.
Ain't no maybe about that.
I'd give it a shot. But hey, it'd be hilarious if Microsoft can't sell it, but they can put it on Game Pass because they're not selling a copy.
That'd be funny.
That'd be hilarious.
But that's for later.
I think the gameplay concept is cool. I like the idea because it sort of brings those idea of the roguelike, where you redo it and redo it and redo it until you get it right. So it introduces that, and there's a cool co-op element to where you play the main character's rival if you're playing as a second player to stop the person from continuing in the game. So I think it's a neat idea, but we'll see how they execute it because it kind of reminds me. Remember with that whole 4v1 thing?
Yeah,
that was happening, like with Evolve and Fable Legends, and people were like, "Yeah, we got this cool 4v1 thing, and it sounds cool in concept, but then when you do it, no one wants to be either everyone wants to be the one person, or everyone wants to be on the team of the four because they can't quite figure out, which gameplay is more fun. Like with Fable Legends, no one wanted to play the villain. It's like boring RTS stuff on a console. Like you don't want that, Maybe if you're a PC gamer, but that was at a time when PC games and Xbox weren't quite a thing yet, And then Evolve, everyone wanted to be the monster, but no one wanted to be the four players,
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how they approach it. I mean, I'm curious to see how it'll affect the story on the single player mode because maybe it's just the AI that's after you. It's kind of closer actually to even Dying Light, where it has you can play as like the zombie against the player, like a 1v1.
Yeah.
So maybe similar to that, But yeah, like Vern said, like I like the concept. Like the aesthetically, it looks really, really interesting, very colorful. It's kind of like almost closer to We Happy Few in some ways because it has like a 60s, 70s look.
Yeah, the art style is very similar.
Yeah, like a kind of like a weird mix of like period and like futuristic. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe steampunk. I don't know, but yeah,
it's got that whole like Stanley Kubrick thing kind of mixed with the Art Deco style of like BioShock or
Yeah. What's like an Andy Warhol kind of influence? Yeah, it's a cool game. I'm looking forward to playing it. On Game Pass.
I'm not gonna spend $70 for it though.
Yeah, on Game Pass, of course.
Yeah. So next up was Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition with ray tracing exclusive to the PS5 at launch as a 4K 30 frames per second mode or 1080p 60 frames per second mode with a 120 frames per second mode at without ray tracing at 1080p. We know that much on the PS5. Ray tracing will be coming in a later patch for the Series X and Series S versions. But we don't know the resolutions that they're targeting, which is really interesting because we know that the Series S will have 120 frames per second modes. And we're probably going to guess that's going to be at 1080p, right?
I'm thinking maybe. I mean, so they haven't shown the resolutions for the Series X, just the PS5? Or
just the PS5. We don't know for the Series X or the S. But my theory is that the Series S 120 frames per second mode will probably be 1080p, right?
I would think so.
Yeah. 1440 maybe. I don't know.
But if the PS5 is 1080p 120 and the Series S is also 1080p 120, That's kinda,
1440p. No.
that's an interesting little thing that might happen, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, there has to be like because I don't quite like
Because
the
it depends
setting.
on what it's tied to. If it's GPU bound or if it's CPU bound. Because if it's CPU, yeah, it's going to be a.
Well, that's why
It's just going to
we're
be an
kind of like.
instance. Yeah, it's going to be an instance where the Series S like kind of shows.
Well, there's that whole smart shift
benefit.
thing that
Yeah.
we don't know the details about how low the CPU clock's going to be or how low the GPU clock's going to be. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be one of those. That's the possibility. There's a possibility of that game being that kind of game COD Ghost was at the Xbox One launch. If the hardware situation doesn't go well for Sony as far as the power, we'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna say that's definitive, but I think that's going to be an interesting game to watch for comparisons.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the Digital Foundry takes on all these games because I think you're definitely gonna see like at least the Series X versions get like more raw power to be able to get the high resolutions and still maintain that same frame rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
And
don't
then the
be like-
Series S versions could punch up a little bit above their weight, you know?
right, that too. I mean, what's interesting about this particular part of the conference is that Sony kind of took the Devil May Cry marketing a bit away from when Xbox had it, which is kind of shocking when they had it too. So almost kind of like a revenge type of thing. I don't know, in some ways. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, but Microsoft got Sony with Tetris.
Yeah, that's that
It's
too.
a little back and forth.
A lot of back and forth. Yeah.
They got Tetris.
Yeah.
We
man.
got
that was
Tetris with
really-
multiplayer, motherfucker. It's like, well, we got ray tracing and Devil May Cry.
So, anyone else want to talk about Devil May Cry before I go on?
I mean, it's Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody's buying a console for it.
Yeah. I will say the ray tracing looked ridiculous in that trailer, though. They went stupid with the reflection, so that looks cool. That looks cool.
Yeah, next trail's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Next was Oddworld Soulstorm. No one cares. After that was.
Can I just say one thing about Oddworld? Maybe Eric might want to pitch in. I want it to be 3D. Damn it!
I didn't
I
like
know.
Oddworld. Got me.
You don't like Oddworld. That's all I heard from Eric.
No, I didn't like.
Okay.
Oh, wow, what's going on?
I don't know. Will, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
It sounds like Discord is trying to simplify Eric's thoughts.
Eric,
Yeah, Eric.
Eric?
Will, you at a fun house? You got kids over there?
Nah, just my microphone picks up everything from outside. Unfortunately,
Eric's gone.
yeah.
Eric's gone.
Hopefully, I'll be back.
See,
Well,
what
anyway,
you
who wants to talk
need
about Oddworld?
is you need to buy one of those 2070s real quick and then just toss that in there. Or 2060, because you probably get them cheap right now and get that AI noise cancellation. Because that's my plan. My PC is not like
2060?
really meant for gaming.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
because it
cheap,
still
if anyone-
has the ray tracing stuff, so it still can do the AI stuff to get rid of for noise
Let's see how much
cancellation.
a 2060 is.
I don't know, like with the 3080 and everything being out there, I imagine those prices have dropped.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of cheap, if anyone's interested in a PS5 for $1,099, please let me know. Okay, so next, do we need to talk about Oddworld more? I feel like no
Other
one's
than
really-
I always like to say I want it to be 3D. I'm not the fan of 2D.
Well, these are just
Oddworlds.
these are sort of like remakes. The first these are the
I
first two
know.
Oddworld. The second Oddworld game. You know, maybe they'll get around to Stranger's Wrath or Munch's Odyssey. You know, we'll see.
Yeah, I want a second sequel to Munch's Odyssey or something.
Yeah,
Stranger-
I like the universe. You know, I like Oddworld, but yeah, these games
And
They're
it's
not doing
decent
anything for me.
they're good platforming. Like it's fun.
Mhm.
Like it's just I don't know. Like kick it up a notch. Because like
Yeah,
Stranger's
really-
Wrath was amazing too.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
All right, I'm gonna try to move through these fast because we got so much to talk about. So after that was Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. No
that
launch
was like
date.
a video, so like
That one's
that's-
keeping us waiting. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
my kids are
Alright.
like that.
oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
love
met
that.
anyone who's ever said I love Five Nights at Freddy's.
My
So-
my kids like that shit. I don't know why.
Well, it's got an audience. Sony knows what they're doing. All right. So next after Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is Demon's Souls. And this was a surprise because later on we found out that Demon's Souls is a launch title. So
Yeah. But
this-
I remember commenting to Vern because we were watching, it was just like, man, this is just all I hear are footsteps. Don't get me wrong. There was no music, no nothing, and I get that that's how the game is. However, when you have a trailer, and for fucking like 30 seconds, all you hear is chop, 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 hit, chop, 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 hits, chop, 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 hits, and then the music comes in for the boss. It's like, dude, that shit took forever. I don't know. Like, it was weird for like a trailer, but I guess I'm not the target audience. Yeah. So.
I liked that it was actual gameplay.
It was
a good extended game. It was the best extended gameplay demo we've seen.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Up to launch on any console. Now, once the
Spider-Man looked pretty good too. That gameplay was awesome.
Yeah, but we didn't see a whole lot of gameplay. We saw like snippets and kind of like cutscenes where you jam the X button or walk around with your friend. You know, we saw a little bit of fighting. I feel like Demon's Souls felt a little more.
Demon's Souls is what you're going to play.
We got to see the real experience of what you're normally going to play.
That's all it is. That's why.
Chop, 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 chop.
It's true though. Like, but it was I think it was the best like pure gameplay we've seen.
It was the most honest.
Besides,
that's a good way to put it. Honest.
If we're talking honest, Halo Infinite was the most honest. No, really.
No one would say too honest, and I'm kind of pissed off about that because I really
Halo Infinite was too honest. It was too honest. So, okay. So after Demon's Souls, we got to see a Fortnite trailer. We all know what Fortnite is. Then we saw after this the PlayStation Plus collection, which is a new thing, and that is a service available to PlayStation Plus owners who have a PS5. It does not work on PS4. It is only for PS5, and is a collection of a bunch of big hits that came out on the PS4. There are some notably absent games like Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us Part 2, and I believe Spider-Man, which leads me to believe that those 4 games will be coming to PS5 with enhanced versions. One we know of that already got announced, and they're charging you $70 without the. You have to pay the $70 version, and that's Spider-Man. So I don't know what y'all think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. That upgrade path is not very good.
Yeah.
For Spider-Man Miles Morales, it's actually pretty bad. Like, not. I mean, I don't see too many people defending it, but it's
Yeah. Do we want to talk about that right now?
Yeah, sure. If you want.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Let's just. We're doing everything in order, so let's just keep going.
All right. Okay. So after the PlayStation Plus collection, I believe there was just one more thing, right? And that was
pricing.
No, we got the price. We got the price right after that, and the price was $4.99 for the disc version, and the big moment was that for the discless version, it is $3.99.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a deal. It's a great value. It was a mic drop moment. You know, everyone's like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!
Look at all these cool things."
They could get it that cheap.
And then after that, they dropped one more thing, and that was God of War coming in 2021.
I don't believe it.
Ragnarok.
I don't believe it. And the reason I don't believe it is because you don't sell just a fucking emblem.
Yeah, it was like there was less than the Fable trailer.
Yeah, I feel like that shit is that shit's gonna be 2022. I'm just saying, like Sony's notorious for delaying games anyway. They showed
it was like the Metroid Prime 4
I wouldn't even really call that shit a logo. That shit was a fucking circle with some emblems on the motherfucker. Like they were like, don't show too much.
Well,
and it
well,
was
I will say that they mentioned a while back that they were going to make their games a lot shorter and come out faster. So I think this is going to be on the lines of like Miles Morales. This,
it could be.
War Ragnarok. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You think?
I think it's gonna come to PS4.
Yeah, it probably will. If it comes out next year, it's definitely coming to PS4.
Yeah.
There's no reason why Horizon Zero or Horizon Forbidden, whatever it's called.
Yeah, is it Forbidden West or West?
Like
yeah.
All right.
So
real quick, I just want to try something. Eric, can you speak?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Tried it.
Yeah. So now the show was over. Everyone was like, "Holy shit! Sony won the generation. They're gonna kill Microsoft. It's Xbox dead. All that
Yep.
stuff." And then all the news started pouring out.
Yeah.
We got release dates from Jeff Keighley instead of release dates from the conference. We got some terrible news like retail prices for these Sony games are now going to be $69.99 in the US. You know, and in like Australia, I think they're like 125 or something crazy like that, or $100 in Canada. I mean, the prices are a big price hike for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody on this podcast, I don't think anybody is delusional enough to think $59.99 is going to be what Xbox charges for the rest of this generation.
But you got Game Pass.
But you got Game Pass, and you had like they are sticking with that $59.99 model. Just to, I feel like to stick it to Sony for as long as they can until.
Yeah. So that was one of the ways.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways they're going to make up for losing all that money on that $3.99 console, right?
Yeah.
We also found out that there are some games that are coming out for PS4 as well, and for a very long time, like maybe since January, when Matt Booty came out and said that for the first year or two, Microsoft would be releasing games on Xbox One as well as the Series X. Jim Ryan came out and said, well, no, we believe in generations, and that Ghost of Tsushima was going to be the swan song for the PS4, and that the PS5 is coming out for PS5 exclusives, titles that are in a new generation that take advantage of the hardware. And he did stick to that because Sackboy's coming out on PS4, Miles Morales is coming out on PS4, and Horizon Forbidden West is also coming out on PS4. We know those are confirmed. And we could see other ones coming as well. So that whole "we believe in generations" talk was a bunch of... I heard someone on the radio saying it, made me laugh. Bull doo-doo.
Bull doo-doo?
Bull doo-doo, yes.
Oh,
bull
geez.
doo-doo.
I know there's a lot of people that's upset, fans, but I don't.
There's nothing to be upset about, though.
No one's upset about it for real.
I don't gotta buy that shit now.
I don't care if that they're releasing it on the PS4 Pro and the PS4. Right. I think that's a great move. Yeah. What I don't think is a great move is lying about it. It makes no sense. They wrote that hype all the way up.
It's an easy win for anybody just to go, look, we're pro-consumer. Like, of course we're going to support this console that has a fucking 100 million sold. Like, they're going to get games the next year. Like, let's do the Microsoft PR. The next year or two, we will support this console that has 100 million users. Like, we're not just going to say, fuck them and start at zero. And then, like, whatever we have at launch, they'll buy everything. Like,
But it's that classic case of, accusing someone of something that you did yourself. And no, really. You see it in politics all the time. And it's not even a partisan thing. It doesn't care what your political beliefs are, but you see it all the time, And to bring that kind of thing to marketing, I think and to a dedicated fan base, and it's at the Sony fan base, it had to annoy them, especially with all the other statements Jim Ryan's made in the past. He's really putting his foot in his mouth a lot, much like Don Matrick did at the beginning of the Xbox One launch in 2013. So he's digging his own grave, But that wasn't the end of the bad news. The next bad news was that suddenly pre-orders started going up at Walmart. Yeah. And everyone's like, what the hell? I thought the pre-orders were supposed to go up tomorrow.
Walmart tweeted hey, we don't wait. We go all in. Like, essentially, we go all in. Bam, open.
I don't remember what the tweet said, but Walmart was like, hey.
We don't wait.
And then Best Buy popped up, and then GameStop popped up.
They really did that?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Amazon popped up, and everyone's like, oh, and people who went to sleep expecting to pre-order when they woke up, they couldn't even get a console. Yeah. So, man, it was a mess. And
it was definitely a mess.
Xbox wasn't a mess. We all have our own stories for that one too. Yeah. But at least it was a mess for everyone at the same time. So it was a fair fight. It was a fair fight for your Series X or your Series S. It was not a fair fight.
And I don't think we could. Nobody's blaming Sony. It was literally fucking. I don't know what's
Walmart
the only
broke
thing
the
Sony.
date.
Yeah, Walmart broke it, then everybody just went in.
Yeah.
they pressed the button.
But
Oh,
at the
I'll
same
say,
time, I don't forgive like anybody else from jumping in because Walmart. Because no matter who the fuck you are selling out of every single pre-order you have. There was no reason that anybody had to follow Walmart. And if nobody else followed Walmart, then Sony would have been like, Walmart, what the? I mean, it'd have been hard to do it because I think Walmart's a bigger company than Sony. It'd be like, but you know what I mean? Like, they could have, like, put pressure. Like, come on, you can't break our street date. Like, we had, something set up. But, yeah, like, the entire industry just said, fuck it, opened up PlayStation. I, luckily enough, was in party chat with Vern. He was like, hey, if you want to get one, you need to get to GameStop now. And I went to GameStop. They had sold out the last one as I entered. And then the guy called on the phone down the street and did an over-the-phone order for me. For a PlayStation.
And I had Amazon credits, so I was like, I'm going to keep F5 in Amazon. F5, 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 and I got my digital edition, so I was good. Yeah. And then I got the email link from Sony to buy another one, which is on sale for the low price of $10.99. Please contact me if you're interested. More bad news for Sony. Wasn't just the pre-orders. We also found out that the upgrade path for some of these games is not so good. So if you buy Miles Morales for $49.99 on PS4, the PS4 version, you get a free upgrade to the PS5 version. But if you bought Spider-Man on the PS4 and even bought all the DLC, let's say you bought like the super expensive edition, I did too. You do not get a free upgrade on the PS5 version that they're releasing it. The only way to get that edition is to pay $69.99 US to get you the Miles Morales and the Spider-Man Remastered Edition. That's the only way. And what's hilarious is that, I don't know if y'all talked about it on a previous podcast, but Control did a similar thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they accidentally didn't they accidentally update?
Yeah, they accidentally made it free and then took it away.
Yeah.
It's also hilarious. But anyway, when Remedy or 505 Games, I don't know whose decision that was. I'm going to guess it was probably 505 Games' decision to do this. Yeah. The publisher. When they did this, there was so much negative talk on even the popular Sony forums like Reset Era, which I consider a Sony forum. But there was so much negative talk about. I think it is for the most part.
No. I was making a joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I thought you were trying to defend them, and I was like, Dustin, what the hell? Come on.
Oh no, my favorite so far this week has been Microsoft GAF needs to calm down, and then like even like the majority of GAF is just going, dude, there's no such thing as it's Sony GAF for a reason. We know.
Yeah. I mean, GAF and NeoGAF and Reset Era are like they're both Sony forums.
Yeah,
they're PlayStation places. It's just that if you're of one political group, you're going to be on one site, and if you're on another political group, you're going to be on the other site.
But either way, you're Sony fans.
yeah, you're both Sony fans, but they're fighting about
politics.
Yeah, exactly. They're two different sides. So, but anyway, even both of those forums, which are very popular, were maligning 505 Games for being anti-consumer, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Sony does the exact same thing pretty much. And then the defense force comes out.
We love you,
Sony! And then you look at Microsoft, and they're giving you a free upgrade for Gears of War 5. They're giving you a free upgrade for Sea of Thieves. They're giving you a free upgrade for Ori and the Will of the Wisps. They're giving you a free upgrade for Forza Horizon 4, Mm-hmm. And these aren't just like shitty like up-reses or something. I mean, they're putting a lot of work into these free upgrades. And they're free upgrades for games that cost $59.99 and not $69.99. So, and they're on Game Pass too. So it made Sony look pretty anti-consumer, and it makes you wonder what's going on with management there. Like Andrew House left, Jack Tretton left, Adam Boyce left. And there's one more I'm trying to think of that left pretty recently. Sean Layden. Sean Layden's gone. And these are people that have been around a long time and were a big reason for the PS4's success at launch. So it makes you wonder, like, what's going on here? Is
Going
it
soon,
is
Jim
the
Ryan. Oh, I mean,
yeah, Jim Ryan. I mean, like, I I was a big Jim Ryan defender for a while. I feel like he puts his foot in his mouth, but he responds quickly when something goes bad. You know?
I do feel like he's making some changes that I wanted to see in PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Like he helped get them get to the whole crossplay where they're at with that now. I mean,
Yeah,
that
but he was
way,
against crossplay. He was against crossplay.
at first he was,
At
but
first.
he just did it. He just pressed the button, man.
He did, and I applaud him for that. And with the backwards compatibility stuff, he came out and said, "Well, why would you want to play these games anyway?" And now backwards compatibility's happened for the PS5.
Yeah, so he's
there was also a rumor. Well, this is a rumor
that
the PS5 was initially going to have a Jaguar processor in there, like the current gen, and it was going to come out a year ago. And some people think that Jim Ryan was responsible for saying, no, we're not doing that. We're going to delay the launch a year, and we're going to make sure we get that Ryzen processor in there. And if that was his decision, once again, really good decision.
Well, it wasn't exactly that. I may just being on some other discourse talking to people and stuff. What it wasn't going to be a Jaguar CPU, but it would have just been what the PS5 is now without the 10 point whatever it is.
Oh, without Smart Shift?
Yeah.
I had heard it was going to be like a whole release back in 2019 and with a Jaguar, and they were planning on having their launch be Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, it would. Well, I mean that's a different rumor, but just something I know specifically, and just talking to some people.
Well, Smart Shift was a late in the game thing. It looks like, yeah.
It was just without the variable CPU frequency.
Yeah, Smart Shift
and all the expensive cooling system. All of that shit.
It was probably going to be RDNA 1 versus 2.
That too.
Well, I think it still might be, but whatever.
It's both. It has a little bit of both in it, but
we don't know. They have never announced if they're doing VRS or if they're doing mesh shaders. So we don't know if that stuff is in there for the PS5.
Yeah.
But that's besides
AMD said it had VRS. I want to say it did.
No, that was never confirmed. That was it was never confirmed. You can't find any confirmation on that. All AMD said was that it's RDNA2 based technology, but they never talk about the specific features like Microsoft does. So
we'll find out soon enough.
That means the GPU is still going to be good since it's RDNA2. That means
look at the games they've shown. I mean, they've
arguably
shown the best looking games.
Yeah, they look fantastic. The really good ones are running at 4K 30 though. The really good looking games are running at 4K 30.
That's true. That's
true. So, and we know that when you add ray tracing and try to get that frame rate up, we're also, losing resolution as well.
But I will say this: Spider-Man looked really good for a 60 frames per second game.
It wasn't 60; it was 30.
It's 30.
Sure?
The trailer was 30. Yeah. The only way you're going to get 60 frames per second is probably turning off those ray tracing effects and probably lowering the resolution.
Well, I just remember them saying that it was 4K 60. Maybe that was.
They announced that a 4K 60 version, a performance mode, would be available at launch, but what they showed at the showcase was a 4K 30 trailer. Okay. Yeah. If you look at the YouTube metrics,
but I'm going to be honest. For me, I would play 4K 30 in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
for the ray tracing. Yeah.
Well, I want to see what the 60 frames.
It's going to feel smoother. Don't get me wrong, but and I know this is going to be taken out of context. 30's fine. It's going to feel like it's going to be hopefully it is a very consistent 30 and like it never drops, and that's more of a cinematic. I'm cool with 30. I don't like this. I know everybody wants 120, but on like Spider-Man, I don't need. You're matching fucking.
You want those shiny graphics, man.
Ray tracing is gonna look fucking gorgeous, so that's the way I'm going on a game like that.
Man, those puddles.
The puddles make a difference, and they better not erase my puddles.
I like the puddles, but
I want to see my reflection.
Jim Ryan seems to have been pretty savvy when it comes to quick responses. So I've been a defender of him for the most part when it comes to that kind of stuff. But this more recent stuff, it's looking pretty bad. All right. Yeah. So things were kind of going south after that showcase.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft came out and said, "Well, we're going to make sure our pre-orders are available on that Tuesday at the set times for all your different time zones and everything and regions."
We're gonna roll them out.
And it happened. They delivered. They delivered on that front. But just before they delivered on that front, on a Monday, some big news dropped, right, Dustin?
Yeah. I think Xbox, and honestly, I don't like every fucking thing leaks from Microsoft, but this has not leaked.
That's insane
Microsoft
too, right?
bought Bethesda. No, I'm sorry. They did not buy Bethesda. They bought ZeniMax, and ZeniMax owns Bethesda, ID Software, Arcane Studios, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dogs, Roundhouse Studios. So Microsoft on Monday went from 15 studios.
It went from 15 to 23.
23, and that doesn't even count like the multiple developers and studios. Like that's just
there's a ton of teams on those individual studios.
I think what was it? You, Steph, saying it was like 35.
We're up to 35, I believe, development teams across.
That's what Clobro said.
Yeah, like that is wild, fucking wild. All right, so if you live under a rock and you don't know what these like Bethesda makes, it's the Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout, Doom, Rage, Prey, Dishonored, Wolfenstein, The Evil Within, Quake. Kind of like just kind of. I would say
you forgot two of the greatest titles ever.
Okay, go for it.
Brink. I'm
True.
kidding. And Wet.
Wet, yeah. I mean, look, I was waiting for Will. I mean, if anybody's gonna play Wet,
well,
it's gonna be like Will. But like, I picked it up for like $10. I like it. Nobody else is playing it.
Sequel to Wet. Will wants the sequel to Wet. No, Wetter.
Wetter. Or the prequel, Dry. But yeah, now $7.5 billion in cash to buy Bethesda. I think it broke the internet. Like people were like, "Nah, you're fucking with me." Like, nobody buys Bethesda. They're not doing bad. Yeah, Fallout was, it was okay. Nobody's like screaming, running home about it. But the one Wolfenstein game didn't hit as hard. But it's Bethesda. Like, the fucking Doom's doing better than ever.
You're forgetting a big title that's coming with this, though, besides all the other ones you mentioned.
What's that?
Starfield,
yeah.
Starfield is the new game from Bethesda
The new game that nobody's seen.
Nobody's seen it, and this is what's crazy. Imran Khan, is that his name, from Kind of Funny Games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He came out and said, when he was talking about Sony picking up a really big exclusive, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, we know it's Final Fantasy 16, but there's something else that they haven't said." Sony was in negotiations with Bethesda to have Starfield as a timed exclusive. And then when you say to Phil, Xbox has no games, he says, "This is personal." And he goes ahead and just buys them.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to read about, because like that would have been the third Bethesda game. They
locked up, yeah.
Well, yeah, we know Microsoft is gonna honor those contracts. So Sony is paying Microsoft to release timed exclusives on the PS5 with both Deathloop and Tokyo Ghostwire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about it that way. It's pretty insane.
That's a bizarre world we're in, right?
Microsoft has more studios than Sony, so sometimes you got to pay the other guy.
Dude, they almost got twice as much. Sony has what, 12?
I think maybe 13 now.
Yeah. No, I thought they were up to 14 studios. I thought I counted. They were one behind Microsoft when they had 15. It was like 15 versus 14, and now Microsoft just blew way past them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I want to say it's 14
like
studios.
That may have been 13, and then they added
Insomniac.
Yeah, so now 14. But similar to Microsoft, if you count the studios within the studios or whatever.
It's more.
Here we go.
Yeah.
We got Ben Studio, Guerrilla Games, Insomniac Games, Japan Studio, London Media Molecule, Naughty Dog, Pixelopus. No one knows that one. Polyphony, San Diego, San Mateo, Santa Monica, and Sucker Punch. They have 13 studios now.
13.
Okay, I was right.
So, yeah. But
I concede the point.
There's no.
could
gonna have
you
double.
add the mobile studios for me, please? Bring me now.
But Microsoft's going to have double that pretty soon. How much you want to bet?
Yeah, I mean they said they're gonna add more studios.
Yeah, it's
Solo-
up there. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, not just like Phil or like somebody's like, "Oh, we're still no." The CEO was like, "Nah, we're still looking. Like we're interested. We're not done." And it's just like, "Fuck! If adding, having 20 like there's fucking huge." Because to me, I'm looking at it like the other big news, and I didn't even have it in the show notes, is, and this is because it's tied. Game Pass went from 10 million subscribers to 15 million subscribers in 5 months.
That's insane. 5 months.
50%.
Do you think it has anything to do with xCloud?
It could.
Because if you
could
think about it,
I think there's probably a big push on PC, along with what's been going on the console. But PC's been getting some good stuff. I think Flight Simulator was probably a big.
I think there has to be. Like, it's just crazy to think. Okay, so 15 million subscribers. We know there's a lot of dollar ones in there, I would think.
Not many. I doubt there's many now.
Not many left. Yeah, they're running out of their dollar. I mean, but think about this. Like, out of anybody, I think PC gamers win the most. Because for $10 a fucking month on PC, you get every fucking Bethesda game? Plus all of Microsoft's games?
I'm curious how that's going to work out because a lot of those games aren't in the Microsoft store.
Oh, they'll end up there.
Oh,
they're not.
Well, we already saw. I mean, it's in the notes. I don't know, but Doom Eternal,
October 1st, Game Pass.
Yeah, so they're starting, and I think they're going to trickle them out because they want to.
They want to feed off of it.
Excited. Yeah. We'll get a few. We'll probably get maybe 2-3 a month, I'd guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're.
But there's a huge back catalog, man. Right, you got Fallout New Vegas, you got Fallout 3, you got Fallout 4, you got all the Elder Scrolls games, You got the,
and if they can
Doom's
unlock
already on there,
like,
right?
Think about on the series, because we got confirmation for Series S and Series X that they'll run like both are going to unlock these games. Like the Xbox One S version will run on the Series S, but it will still unlock the frame rate, so they could pop it up to 60 frames per second for New Vegas.
Mm-hmm. It'll also do HDR.
Yeah, and
well, and for 360 games, it'll be 1440p for the.
That's what I'm saying.
Version.
That's Fallout New Vegas. It's gonna be 1440p at 60 with HDR.
Well, that one isn't enhanced on the Xbox One X yet. So
New Vegas isn't, or is it just
New
3?
Vegas isn't. Just Fallout 3 right now is enhanced. But I would assume they'll probably do the same with New Vegas, considering it's on the same engine. They'll probably get that Hoichi method working just fine.
Especially since there was another tweet about, hey, since you got Bethesda and Obsidian and they're all together, New Vegas. And then, of course, Obsidian tweeted out with who knows, kind of.
Well, hands up,
hands up. Yeah, just maybe. New Vegas too.
But
it definitely opens the door. Microsoft owns the IP now. Like, why? Fuck it.
But when they dropped this news, I mean, I was just like, holy shit, anything's possible. And I immediately thought, oh, well, Xbox got no games, now it's got games, and that was my initial thought. But
there's so much more to the acquisition. Yeah, I've
been thinking about this a lot more. And there's some other news that came out today that Amazon is releasing a streaming service called Luna. It's going into beta testing soon. It's going to have 100 games at launch, 100 plus games at launch. Sounds a lot like Game Pass, right? It's only going to be $5.99 a month, though, instead of $10 a month. So it's a little bit of an undercut there. But one of the really interesting things about it is there's also this Ubisoft option, which they didn't say how much it's going to cost, but it sounds like it'll probably be in addition to that $5.99 a month, where you play all the Ubisoft games that come out at launch, much like their PC service, and like EA Play Premier is for PC. So to me, I think Microsoft saw this kind of thing coming, and they want to take away the ability for publishers, is my guess, to have their own subscription services that can then be added on top of other competing platforms. You see, so with this 7.5 billion acquisition, they essentially took away the opportunity for Amazon, or when Apple comes into the game, or Google with Stadia, to have any of these games. They just took it right off the table. So it's a huge
question.
It's a huge power play.
On that, we had mentioned earlier that it was going to be on iOS. How is this possible? Is it not the same thing?
No, it is.
So they're
the way they're doing
the system.
They are not releasing it on the App Store. It is actually running within the browser on Safari.
What?
Yep.
Yes.
So back in the day, if you don't remember, Apple, like as an option, they didn't want to have an app store. And they told developers, just build your apps in the browser. And Apple has the infrastructure for you to kind of build stuff so that they didn't have to have an app store. And then, of course, the app store blew up and jailbreaking became a thing. And they fucking created an app store. And now they want to they realize that 30% of everything is fucking really nice. And now they want everything on the app store. And they want their cut. But they still have all the infrastructure for you to build apps in Safari. And they're taking advantage. Amazon's taking advantage of it. Like it's there. It's meant so that we don't have to use your store. But
$5.99, 4K 60. The only barrier is a $50 controller. They could probably tie it in with the Amazon Prime memberships, the Twitch integration. When you look at this, you got to take Amazon seriously with this. Amazon is only one major publisher acquisition away from suddenly being in a game with Microsoft for the cloud war. And I don't think we heard this from Microsoft about a year ago. They said they don't see their competition as PlayStation or Nintendo. They see it as Amazon, as Apple. I think we're starting to see that happen. And I think this is the beginning of it. And I think this console war that we've been thinking about, it's going away. And Microsoft isn't in the console war anywhere. They're letting Nintendo and PlayStation fight for that old model of buying a piece of hardware to buy games gated to that system. And those will still exist and those will still be popular, but they're not going for 100 million gamers. They're going for 3 billion gamers. And they're playing a completely different game, you know? Sony's playing checkers, Microsoft's playing chess. You know, this is just a different game.
And this is probably what led to the people were rumored oh, Microsoft's going to sell off Xbox. It's going to it's like it's not in the same. It's like no, it's all about cloud. And who are your top cloud players? Amazon, it's Google, it's Apple, it's Microsoft.
Yeah,
and it's going to be. It's like, hey, Satya, you want to be in control of cloud, right? Gaming is the biggest entertainment industry that is using the cloud. We need to invest, and 7.5 billion for them isn't. They have a war chest of 140 billion. Like the only people that really have a bigger war chest is Apple. So Apple can get in the game at any time. Amazon has to pick up as much as they can. Google's already in it. I mean, but Google and Amazon just don't have the publishers yet. Apple can, just because they have 200 billion, they can buy their way in.
They can buy it, yeah. Amazon can buy their way into some smaller publishers, you know? Yeah. They might have enough leverage to.
But Microsoft's big enough. And sadly, and this is not to talk bad about Sony. Like Sony just doesn't have the infrastructure, doesn't have the money. That's why they made the deal with Sony in the beginning of the year. It's why they're playing it. It's like we need Azure. It's the best service that we can use to make PlayStation now work, to make a PlayStation period work. PlayStation Online. Without them investing in.
Oh, sorry, continue.
No. Well, I was just saying, without them investing a ton of money in infrastructure, which they can't afford to do. Like honestly, they're not gonna. They can't compete because Amazon, the market's already established.
We're entering a publisher bidding war, and I think Microsoft just fired the first shots with Bethesda.
Well, it's becoming the bigger companies are coming out to play, and Sony's just not that big. Like when Apple and Amazon and Microsoft are bidding against each other for these publishers, Sony's not in the conversation anymore. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of, y'all make. Somebody was showing like the revenue for Sony. Sony makes like I think 7 billion a year or something. And then it was like, that's profit. That's great. That's outstanding. Microsoft makes that in 45 days. Like that's nothing, because at the end of the day, Microsoft's a software company. They don't have to produce stuff. Like all their stuff's pure profit.
And for
So
the longest
it's
time,
unfair to
people
like.
called
I
the
get
war
that it's
chest
unfair.
a meme.
Yeah.
But no, really, but like for the longest time, the war chest you just talked about, people called that a meme, But it's
But when
real
you're talking about when you're talking about these industry, like the cloud is an industry. Like I'll put it this way: I know we're going to keep saying the cloud and people, it's a meme in gaming, but
Yeah.
Azure is Microsoft's number one industry. That's what they do is Azure. Like it's not Windows anymore. It's not even Office anymore. It's cloud. That's where they make their money.
I got to talk about Stadia a bit. I'm the only person here who's probably had a lot of time with Stadia. The game selection's terrible. I get that, but the tech is there. It's here now. If you actually have a really good internet connection and you're using the Stadia controller, or you're using a controller that's wired to the device you're playing on, when a game runs at 60 frames per second in 4K, the lag that you feel probably doesn't feel that far off from a local experience with a TV that has a high input latency.
Yeah.
We're not far. We are not far from this cloud
4K
future.
60 you played on Stadia?
Oh yeah, and it's good. It's good. The tech is here. It's here. It's now. And I'm a believer in this cloud future. I think in 5 or 6 years, I would be perfectly happy probably playing an entirely streamed experience. I think we're really close. Once 5G, hopefully we get there. We'll see what happens with our U.S. economy and what happens there with the rollout of 5G. But once 5G is really rolled out and it's there, and these this input, this latency isn't an issue, and the broadband speeds aren't an issue. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit with this technology. And I think Microsoft sees it, and now obviously Amazon sees it, and we know Google sees it, and it's a new war. It's a completely different war,
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think xCloud is gonna win out though because they have such a big library, and I mean
they got the library, but the
Yeah.
performance isn't there yet. The performance is
Yeah.
not there yet.
No,
We're
but,
playing at 720p on phones at this point. Now that's going to
Yeah,
change.
but
Real quick,
Is
the
that
Bethesda deal.
bad on a phone?
No, it's not. It's you could tell a difference between 1080 and 720 on a phone. I know I can, but it's not terrible on a phone. I think it's still it's doable. It's fine, especially like when you're out on like cellular. Like I think xCloud works really well. I mean, I've shown Vern videos of me playing it. Like I've recorded my screen, and it's
never works well for me. I haven't had a good xCloud.
It's shockingly good for me, but I'm also like I will say I'm biased because I'm like I'm really close to a server farm. But like it's the Bethesda deal. They also got Orion.
Origin. Oh no, sorry, not Origin. I'm sorry. You're right. Orion,
which is Bethesda's view on speeding up latency.
Development.
Yeah, because originally Orion was going to be for every streaming platform. Like they wanted to sell.
I thought it was developer only.
Well, no. Well, it was meant for them. Like, if you want to use it on Unreal, fine. They're able to prioritize game stuff to make it work better. I believe they said 20%. I would just watch the conference again from last year on Orion, but they could put it for any platform they wanted. But now all those patents, everything they figured out, is now all xCloud. Like it's all owned by Microsoft.
4K 60 tech too.
Yeah,
it's been mainly used recently though for development purposes. I assume it's probably been good for people working remotely during COVID-19.
Yeah. But the idea is you could buy it, put it in any of your games, and no matter if you were because they even specifically bring up xCloud or Stadia or anything, you could put it in your game and it would speed it up by a factor of 20%, which is awesome. Like that's great.
Yeah, it's that hidden acquisition that is maybe more important than some of the other studios that are there, and we'll see how that turns out. But that could be part of how they get this 4K 60 streaming to work even better. And we know they're going to be putting Series X consoles into the blades that are currently Xbox One S consoles. So they're going to be offering that 4K 60 option sometime next year, is the talk. And I think at that moment, if Stadia doesn't have their shit together, they're done. You know?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the tech that Google has at Stadia, it is fantastic. And when you play a game on your phone at 1080p, it looks really good. And the performance is great for me. I have, or I don't have it right now. I'm getting another one of them because my last one broke. But I have the Razer Kishi, which is one of the devices you can connect to your phone.
Yeah.
And it goes directly into the USB Type-C port, so it's not a Bluetooth connection, which means the input latency is very, very low. And it almost feels local in some games. It doesn't on Destiny, but like Orcs Must Die 3 and what was the one you played, Dustin, that you noticed? Was it the Wonder Boy game, Monster World?
Well, anything that's 2-dimensional, I find, or plays on a 2D plane, works, even on xCloud, works really well. Like, it's almost indistinguishable. And not even just like Ori might be the one exception because just how quick it was. But I was playing Minecraft Dungeons with the new fucking touch controls on.
Fantastic.
Wow. Like, but the thing is, that game allows for variation. Like, when you stop, you don't instantly stop. Mm-hmm. So a lot of latency goes unnoticed versus a shooter, which you're fucking, even with an analog stick, you're used to. When you stop, you stop. You know, controller drift, you feel it, and it just feels wrong. But like 2D games for sure, like cloud is ready now. Shooters, I think Vern's right, like another 4 years.
Third-person shooters feel good for the most part.
But first-person
shooters,
that's where the latency challenge is. Like, because you're so used to like that exact, like when you stop, and it's hard to do that with a shooter.
I think if we get to 120 frames per second in first-person shooters over a streaming service, that's when we'll get there. That's when it'll feel pretty good. Because just hitting 120 frames per second is having the latency, you know, in half, you know. Yeah, that's getting rid of half the latency immediately, right? You couple that with improvements in streaming, with faster broadband connections, with lower latency connections. We're almost there. But I think we're a gen refresh away. You know, maybe 3 years away when the next console comes out, or 4 years away when you get the Series X2. You know, maybe then all those games are running in 120 easily instead of 60, and then we're there.
I'm sitting here listening to y'all talk about this shit like it's the best shit ever with an iPhone, and I can't use none of this shit.
Nope.
Except for Stadia, I guess.
It's a serious problem. And there was an interview recently with, what was it, Phil Spencer, Todd Howard, was it Pete Hines, and Major Nelson? And in that podcast, they asked specifically about, I believe, no, was it that one?
No, it was whenever he was getting interviewed by.
You're right. Was it C-SPAN or one of those people like that? Yeah. They asked him about iPhone. He said, Phil Spencer said he thinks they're going to work a deal out. So, and I trust him on that. That has to be in motion. Motion. But I think we're going to know if Apple wants to get into this cloud game pretty easily, based on if they make that deal with Microsoft, then they're not getting in the cloud game. Or if they continue to let Amazon use their back door, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the thing is, what they said is that it's not allowed at all. So I don't see how they could not let Microsoft and Google. Wait, can you do it? Can you do it on the iPhone on Stadia?
No.
Okay, so you can't do it on with Stadia with an iPhone.
Correct.
You can't do it with xCloud.
You can't do it with anything other than. So there's 2 ways you can do it right now. You can either go through the browser with Safari, or you can create. So you can have. Let's say you have the xCloud app, and it will show you all the games, right? And then that game will. No. I'm just saying. Let's say this is a hypothetical app for this situation. So there's an xCloud app that would show you a brochure of a bunch of different games that you could play. And when theoretically you could click on one of these games, it would load the iOS store, which would load an app that lets you download that app so that Apple can review it for you to stream from xCloud.
For every single game.
For every game. That is how Apple is offering an alternative. That way they can say, hey, we just want to review, and then no chart,
But Microsoft has leverage. They do have leverage with Minecraft. So maybe they can leverage that to then allow their...
Microsoft, I believe, is still the -- developer for iOS.
Yeah.
So...
They can
if Microsoft's like, look, we can leverage Office, we can leverage ton of it. Because they make SwiftKey, they make all kinds of shit for iOS.
Apple doesn't want to lose that money from their app store.
Yeah.
So there's I think they'll work.
But at the same time, Microsoft doesn't want to lose the money from iOS. I mean, it's a big. They make a lot of money off of that. And they want it. Yeah. I can't imagine they'll ever pull off of.
They'll
Apple.
figure out a deal. Those
two companies. Apple and Microsoft are so intertwined, I don't see them not coming to some kind of resolution to.
But if they don't come to a resolution, that means Apple's probably going to try to get in on this cloud game, is my guess. Yeah. And we'll see how they respond to Luna with Amazon. Because if they suddenly rewrite Safari to not allow Luna to run through the browser, then we'll get a good idea of what's going on at Apple too.
Yeah.
But I know we're talking about cloud too much, but it's exciting,
and it's something Bethesda brings to the table. It really is. There's a lot of little things. Another thing people weren't talking about. They just bought a whole game engine.
Yeah, they got
a brand new one. They got id Tech.
Yeah, they got
it's
id
all.
Tech,
It belongs to them now. So they have this huge, big new engine that is going to be powering all these games.
Listen to this. Imagine a smaller scope Halo game on the id Tech engine. Right?
I want a horror game, like a Flood horror game.
But you could see Microsoft using id Tech to start replacing Unreal in there. Because let's say if Unreal starts bucking about hey, we want we don't want to pay 30% on Xbox anymore. We want whatever deal. Microsoft, but you know what? We got id Tech. We don't need Unreal. We have a huge popular engine.
But their developers are used. I think they'll keep that.
I think they'll. No. I don't think I don't think Unreal's or Epic is ready to challenge everybody. I mean, they're already taking on Apple and fucking Google.
Yeah.
They're not ready to take on every version of profit they can make off Fortnite by getting it off console.
So is the engine that Dishonored used, is it like a spin-off of the id Tech? It's like the Void engine or something like that?
I think so.
It's probably linked to it somehow. Because I know they were using Unreal Engine before for the first Dishonored, and then they switched over to Void Engine for the second Dishonored. I think they're using it again for Deathloop.
But so it's very interesting. Yeah, there's just so much to this because it was a publisher.
Void Engine is built on id Tech 5.
Yeah, so that's cool. It's like a modified, I guess, custom id Tech, whatever.
Yeah, so we know the kind of scope and the experiences you have can run on id Tech. And I mean, Starfield's engine, what is that?
It's completely rewritten.
Yeah, it's being rewritten. So we know they have some open world engines they're going to be pulling in as well, So, they're getting some good tech with this Bethesda buyout as well. Not just the developers. So
it's the best buyout they can possibly get.
It was way better than Warner Brothers.
Deal.
Yeah,
so much included in that package. Japanese studio, id Tech, good developers.
You got a Japanese studio, you got a German studio, you got a Canadian studio, Nova Scotia. So shit. Yeah, you got a worldwide studio.
I was joking around with Vern. I was like, it'd be great to work for if you want to just transfer one studio to another at Xbox now. It's just hey, where do you want to go? Anywhere in the world. At this point, they have studios every fucking where. And they have 23 studios.
And I think these games aren't coming to PlayStation. I mean, there's all this talk.
So there was this huge these are all going to be on PlayStation. It's dude, they're not.
Nah, Starfield's going to be Xbox PC exclusive. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be Xbox PC exclusive, I think.
Elder Scrolls Online. I could see it staying PlayStation.
Yeah.
Any game that is currently a games as a service game on multiple devices outside of the Xbox ecosystem, I think will remain that way, just like they did with Minecraft. You know,
You really think they're gonna hold Elder Scrolls and Fallout and all
yes,
that?
yes, I do. I think Fallout 76 will stay cross console. You know,
Well, yeah. But the
but
new stuff.
now, whenever Fallout 5 comes out, that's going to be on Xbox.
Well, I don't understand why they would do that, but then put Minecraft dungeons.
Because
because
Minecraft already established itself to be a multi-platform.
What about dungeons though? It's a whole different. Well, okay, so Elder Scrolls established itself to be a multi-console game. Why wouldn't they keep it that way? Now,
because they just bought it, and it's not a games as a service.
Right.
Like it's hard to argue with Minecraft. Minecraft didn't start as games as a service. That's true. No. I'm just saying, but Minecraft is a games as a service now. Like that. That's what that
they
is.
Also didn't.
And they just bought Minecraft. They bought
Yeah.
just Minecraft for $2.5 billion. Just Minecraft. They had to make a return on their investment immediately, pretty much. This is not the same case with Bethesda. You're not getting just Minecraft with Bethesda. You're getting a ton of IP. You're getting a ton of technologies. They don't have to play by the same rules this time.
It's the other thing about this. The other big thing about this is people. It's not like the 7.5 billion disappeared. Like that's not how these transactions work. Like Microsoft bought $7.5 billion worth of assets that are going to produce money for them. So even with Minecraft, it was they looked at the financials and went, okay, what's better? Do we keep a war chest of 140 billion, or do we spend 7.5 and then we get 7.5 billion in assets, which actually makes more money faster than letting it sit in a bank? Because the issue with war chest is you're not growing. You're kind of just sitting on the slowest interest you can build.
Yeah.
Which at 140 billion is a lot of fucking interest. But if I was going to say, hey, there's a publisher that is fucking raking in cash and they're willing to sell and we can still rake in cash, would you like to invest in that development? Yeah, fucking buy them. Publisher, bam. Yeah. Bethesda, Minecraft.
Next Doom game, next Wolfenstein game, next Elder Scrolls game, Starfield, next Fallout game. I think those are all going to be exclusives. You know?
Well, I feel like I want to say when I read the press statement, they said that they're going to operate as they did, as they did before. Independently,
they know
they'll still publish their own games. Still,
they're going to publish their own games, but they said they're going to be exclusive on a case-by-case basis. Those are the exact words.
Well, no, they said they were looking at they said they're going to look at other consoles on a case-by-case basis per game. So their games default all exclusive, period. Day one on Game Pass, period.
But
like if they go Elder Scrolls Online, hey, this works as a games as a service, put it everywhere. Yeah. Fallout, nope. Put that on ours because we want
76.
People. Yeah.
That'll stay multi-platform. They're not going to pull that down, or they're not going to stop updating the other versions of that.
I could see them keep Fallout, Multiplat, and Doom because those are already.
What's the benefit?
What's the benefit for them?
Well,
these are single player games. Yeah. They are not money. They're not money that's going to keep on coming in.
And
these
I
are
can tell
games
you,
that are designed to bring someone into an ecosystem.
I know every PlayStation fanboy on Twitter, and they've all told me they have a PC to play Xbox games. So they're not losing any customers, according to Twitter. Because they all have PCs that could play this shit at max settings. So what's the benefit to Microsoft publishing on PlayStation?
And let's
there is none.
What was the big criticism for Microsoft's exclusives?
You can play them anywhere.
They don't have single-player story-driven games, right?
Yeah. No.
Not games as a service games. Single-player story-driven games. What's Doom? What's Wolfenstein? What's Elder Scrolls? What's Fallout? Those are all single-player story-driven games that are not games as a service games. They're not worried about revenue coming in from microtransactions, right? So what are those games used for? Those are to bring someone into an ecosystem. They're not used to continuously make money. They're there to bring someone into the ecosystem, right? That's why I think those games are going to be exclusive games.
Well, I see what you're saying, but I think they're going to be more strategic with it. Like let's say like Starfield, I can see that. anything from Arcane and
They
Machine
took the
Games.
PlayStation logo off of the Starfield shit and literally chucked that because there was no
Yes.
contract, no
Well,
nothing.
and did you watch the interview with the 4 people with
Yeah,
he definitely said we're excited to bring Starfield to Xbox. He did not. He said Xbox. So that's
it just really depends.
that's definitely going to be exclusive.
But it's just funny to see people like twist and turn to be like, well, any studio Microsoft brings, it's coming to PlayStation as well. It's like, no, like that.
No, it's not
you have
guaranteed.
one example of Minecraft doing it.
Let's look at Hellblade.
Like,
is Hellblade 2 coming to PlayStation?
No, but when you think about
Outer Worlds 2, when that comes out, is that going to be coming to PlayStation? They already said that's going to be exclusive to Xbox.
No, but when you think about it, they're not like high-selling games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls. So they're not. They don't have.
But why wouldn't you? But so only the idea that they're only going to keep exclusives that are like their 100,000 sellers is crazy. Like they're gonna have exclusives on their ecosystem.
Yeah, that's not gonna bring anyone into Game Pass.
I agree with you guys, but what I'm saying is there's a possibility they can keep it multi-platform because they also have.
There is absolutely the possibility.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen on anything that isn't a games as a service game.
Yeah, I know. Like Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But,
because they need that money to keep on coming in.
And they also, as games as a service, they can keep you at $15 a month on PlayStation. And then with like we just talked about it. They went from 10 million to 15 million Game Pass subscriptions. That's what they're selling, not consoles. They're not trying to sell you on fucking PlayStation consoles at $70 a month. They want your money directly at $15 a month.
And this is a really cool thing. You have Game Pass Ultimate, right? And Game Pass Ultimate has Game Pass Ultimate perks. This just opened a whole bunch of new perks. Elder Scrolls Online $15 a month subscription. That's something they could bring to Game Pass Ultimate if they wanted to.
I don't know if it'll be in there.
That's something they could, though. If they wanted to bring more people into Game Pass, they can say, hey, well, instead of just spending $15 a month to, get the Elder Scrolls Online, I forgot what they call the $15 a month service.
Yeah.
Well, what if you say, well, why don't you just come on and subscribe to Game Pass and you'll get that same thing, right?
Like a Destiny 2 type of thing.
Yeah. They can also do that with Fallout 76 as well, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm curious how Elder Scrolls and Fallout 76 are going to fare in the future because they seem to have a low opinion of these games. Well, Elder Scrolls is a little bit better than.
No, Elder Scrolls Online's that's doing well.
Yeah.
That's doing well. They have an expansion
Fallout
every
76
year.
is the one that was struggling.
That's probably the third most played MMO there is right now. You got Warcraft on the top. You got Final Fantasy 14 just beneath that. Mm-hmm. And then your next biggest subscriptions, I believe, is Elder Scrolls Online as far as how actively it's being played. Especially when people, what's his name, Summit, has been playing a lot of Elder Scrolls Online. He's helped that game a lot.
I think they would miss a lot of money by putting it in Game Pass if people picked up on it. If they don't have to have a subscription.
No, but it's about bulk though. It's about if they can go from 15 to let's say 25, 30 million subscriptions at $15 a month, they're way better off. Because it's not about it's not
about them as not a first party anymore. I keep forgetting that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about subscriptions.
They're moving that $15 a month subscription to Game Pass. So suddenly they get those numbers on Elder Scrolls Online and they get those same numbers on Game Pass. It's a crossover, you see?
Yeah, and then you get those guys that's playing that
everything else.
Yeah, and then they'll be playing everything else. Yeah.
There's some good moves they can do with this, man. It's and that's why I think that's obviously why those games will stay.
But this is, I really think this is Microsoft's goal of hitting 100 million.
Oh man, this is hilarious. Imagine being a PS5 owner who plays Elder Scrolls Online, and you're paying $15 a month to Game Pass.
With $10 more a month, you can buy a Series S for $25 a month, which will give you all your Elder Scrolls stuff.
Exactly. They can play this in ways we haven't thought about yet, man. This is a big pickup.
Yeah. They can leverage a lot of these things into their
because
favor.
It's not like they're capped at 15 million. If they get like 50, 60 million subscribers to Game Pass, which I think is plausible.
Yeah.
Because it's not... If Game Pass was only for Xbox, you could throw me through the way. It'd be like, Dustin, shut the fuck up. But Game Pass is PC and Xbox and fucking mobile. It's all free.
Guess how much revenue
huge.
that is a month if they have 60 million. Wait, shit. Let me look again. I'm gonna figure this out.
So what do you guys say to those like PlayStation dudes who are like,
that is $900 million a month. It's almost $1 billion a month.
yeah,
If they can get to that 60 number.
Which at that deal, like, well, let's say it's not going to be that. It's going to be between. That's the high. It's still like fucking 600 million a month for the cheaper plan.
They're making off selling these games by themselves on Steam and Epic Games Store and on the Xbox Store. You know?
Yeah.
And the 30% cut.
It's about I'm just saying, like PC for look at $10 a month. If you buy fucking Elder Scrolls for $70 on Steam and you fucking skip the $10 version on PC through fucking the Windows Store, you're a fucking idiot. Honestly,
but anyway,
you are like that. Like people like Windows. I think this Bethesda deal is way more huge for Windows than it is even for Xbox.
It's great for PC. It's paid advertisements for Steam players, okay? So someone on Steam goes ahead and buys the next Doom game, buys the next Fallout, buys Starfield, all right? Let's say they buy it on Steam, they're not playing it on Game Pass. Well, they still have to pay, they still have to log in with their Microsoft account, right? And then they go, wait a second, this is on Game Pass? Wait, all this shit's on Game Pass? Why am I going to buy it on Steam? So suddenly they're paying for a game that ends up being an advertisement for another service.
Mm.
And why wait on a Steam sale? Within 6 months, you're still getting AAA games on Game Pass anyway from third parties.
Yeah, that's a strange thing. And
It's like, don't get me wrong. Like I have fucking almost 500-600 games on Steam. I definitely have a Steam library. I don't play any of it, but I got the games. But if I didn't have that library and somebody was just, even like we were talking about this earlier, like even if you have, I could have bought everything I own on PlayStation 4 this generation, been a huge Sony pony and been like, yes, it's great, I love it. Game Pass nullifies all that. Like I can just fucking buy an Xbox and then have an instant library of exclusives and huge games and new games all the time. Like, it's fucking, it's wild. And don't get me wrong, Sony's approaching it, and I think with what Amazon's doing, it's going to force Sony's hand to start putting its exclusives day and date on PlayStation Now. And that's pro-consumer. It's going to push the market forward. It's awesome.
Maybe, I don't know. I see Sony going a different way. As I said earlier, Microsoft's going a different direction. I think Sony's going to that Nintendo route. You know, where you got that hardcore fan base that is going to buy the console and they're going to buy just the Sony exclusives.
I just don't think that's viable in 15 years, though. Sony has to evolve.
I think it's viable if they just want to exist in that realm and not grow a whole lot. You know what I mean? And that's what Nintendo's done, and it's working for them, and they're fine, and they're happy, and their fans are happy.
Look, this is where I'm going to disagree with you, Vern.
Let me finish, though. Okay. The reason why I think it works great for Nintendo is because kids are a renewable resource.
True. But this is what's going to happen, is Apple's going to say, hey, we want to get in now. Apple's not going to buy fucking anybody but Nintendo. Apple's the one to just come in and buy Nintendo.
Absolutely.
You know how hard that would be, though? That would be super hard.
But you know what?
No, Apple has over $200 billion in the bank. If anybody could come up and write that checkbook and make name your price.
Like the movie industry. This is just like the movie industry. Remember when the movie industry was all these smaller studios and then they all got eaten up by the bigger ones?
It's Disney and Warner Brothers. Or AT&T, I should say now.
The template is there. The template is there, and Microsoft sees it, and Amazon sees it, and maybe Apple sees it as well. And you might be spot on. We could see Apple grab Nintendo. Maybe we see Amazon grab Sony someday. I don't know. I really don't know where this is going to go.
I'm calling it now. Apple's going to come out and buy Nintendo and Sega.
Dude, that could happen. That could absolutely happen.
Because all those are kids friendly. They could pop that shit on the store, make a fortune, and just
and they're ready to go. Yeah, they're in, and then they're there for the streaming future.
Yeah.
And then maybe you see a situation where in Japan, some of these companies come together. Like I could see Sony eventually merging with or collaborating with Square Enix. Yeah. And then who knows? Maybe someone like an Amazon or a Google picks them up and then puts them into their service. I mean, that's kind of where we're going. We're going into this, and maybe it's good for the industry, maybe it's not. I really don't know if it's
the only thing
it's good or bad.
Sony's so diversified in weird things. That's the only thing I think that keeps them from being bought out instantly. Because I think Google or Amazon would buy Sony.
But PS5 is going to be a huge success.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge success. But I think this is the beginning of a new war, as I said. The console war is over. That's done. We're in the cloud wars now.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's the ecosystem war. It's right now. It's all about ecosystems. And Microsoft wants you in theirs, no matter if you're playing on fucking Steam, Xbox, PC, fucking mobile, and they're working on Apple now. They want to have their ecosystem.
They even are implementing the touch controls into the mobile app, like what you were talking about with Minecraft. It isn't just like you're using like a touch controller on the screen. No, you actually go through the menus by touching the menus. I mean, it's freaking cool, man.
They completely redo the front end UI on. Have either of y'all played Minecraft Dungeons? No, I know you didn't, Steph, because you got that iOS.
Yeah,
I didn't. You were correct. But before we leave, Apple might possibly buy Nintendo and stuff. They got a lot of shit, man. Now games, they got a lot of like merchandise, and they got that theme park or whatever.
No, I get that. Nintendo is diversified, but I think Apple's would be more willing to buy that than Sony with like, okay, we're getting into car insurance, life insurance, we're getting into like 30 billion different business. Like Sony is truly
one thing
weird.
Stopping Apple from ever making a move like this, and that's how Japan is a very isolationist.
Oh, that's true. Japan doesn't allow anybody to buy hardware making companies, and Apple.
There's an official list of companies that are untouchable, and the Japanese government will jump in the way. So that's what I'm saying. So this is something that is far off, and it's something that may never happen. I believe Sega actually isn't on that list, though.
Yeah, Sega's not on the list, and I don't believe Nintendo is either.
So who knows? Who knows? But
if anybody buys Nintendo, it's going to be Apple. I really do believe.
That's a match made in heaven. Yeah, that's just perfect.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my 2 cents on all of this. I don't know.
Is that the news? Is there more?
I mean, I don't know. What we got Tokyo Game Show came and went.
Nobody cared.
Look, everybody. It was like, is that Sega shit really going to happen? A lot of people are talking about this, and after the Bethesda news, I can't say it's impossible anymore. Like it's bullshit. Like I got it. Like okay, let's find out. We'll delay the shit. Let's see. Nope, it didn't happen. All right, moving on. Like it's Tokyo Game
gotta
Show.
admit, the conspiracy theory was hilarious. Like you had that photo of the lady like slumped over on her desk with her arms crossed like an X, and then there was right in front of a box. So everyone was like, "Oh, it's Xbox," And then the color. Of,
if you touch Sonic in a very certain spot, it's the right blue to match up with, or what was it? If you mark the controller in a certain spot, it matched the blue.
Oh yeah, it was the blue.
Because you couldn't even select anywhere else in the photo that was blue. You had to hit that one point, but it was Sonic Blue.
It was Sega Sonic Blue. Yeah, there was that. There was the Sonic doll holding the green drinks with a white straw and a black straw, like all this stupid stuff. It was so dumb, but it was really funny, to see that conspiracy develop over time.
It was well strung together.
But yeah, Tokyo Game Show came and went. Nothing was there really.
Nothing really of substance. Like just like a Samurai Showdown maybe update, and like
we got a new trailer for what's that, Scarlet Nexus, I think it's called, which looked cool, but nothing really happened there. What What other news you got here, Dustin? You got
we
the
got
Microsoft
Store. Yeah, the new rollout came out, so everybody has the new Microsoft Store. It's fucking awesome. Looks great. I don't know if you know if the Xbox Beta app on Android. I would imagine iOS as well. Well, I don't know. Is the beta app on iOS or just Android?
Who knows with iOS?
But they also got the new UI for
To everyone, don't
for
use Apple. Just get your Android phone.
yeah. But but that's really cool. It works really well. It looks really good. It's just going with the same theme. We had Xbox memory cards finally get their price. It's been confirmed. 1 terabyte for $220.
The low price.
Low price of $220. Welcome to next gen, where super fast SSDs are gonna fucking cost just like PC super fast SSDs. It sucks.
They haven't said what the 2 terabyte is, right? They haven't.
Oh, that ain't coming out anytime soon. You can't even get them on NVMe drives right now, right?
Yeah, no. And okay, so here's the other supposed maybe bad news for PlayStation. And this isn't the rag on play. The memory's going to be expensive. We all agree it's going to be pricey. To get equivalent memory right now on like PlayStation, what PlayStation 5 has is like $500. No, it's like $400 or $500.
Well, we don't know if there is a second bay.
Oh no, that's not even the point yet. Even if there is a second bay, like the price is going to be even double of what Microsoft is because it's going to be
the new one, the new drives that got announced that
you
are
think
at,
it's going to be 3?
No, like I think they're at the same price.
The 2?
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the same price for a terabyte.
So
they're
still $220 about for fucking terabyte.
The question is, do we have a separate bay on the PS5? We haven't seen anything like that. I mean, at some point, like
the lingo so far has been to push towards not adding storage, but expanding it through replacing the existing storage.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. I'm hoping there is a second bay.
Yes. I'm crossing my fingers. If there isn't, this is a big mess up. It
would be really expensive to put a second bay though,
because a 2 terabyte drive would be $440 because you double because you're still paying same cents per gigabyte. It would be like just to get a 2. Oh man, it would cost as much as the console
instead of
or more than the console. If you bought the digital version, it would be more than the console itself.
Yeah.
That's why I was shocked about the pricing, to be honest, like with it being $100 off for a Blu-ray drive, because all the components are the same.
But they're making up for that by having you
have it all. No, digital. I get that, but still
$70 games.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
And a $70 controller.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. If you buy all that extra stuff.
Yeah.
And
all your stuff on Xbox still works. Like your controllers work, your fucking headsets work, your fucking everything just works, no matter what. If it's a Series X game or a One X game. And what's cool is we already know later. I don't know if we discussed this on a previous podcast, but they said later next year. Well, not later in the year, but I think early next year they're rolling out the update for existing controllers to have the latency reduction by timestamping every button movement.
Oh, that's cool.
So all our Xbox One controllers will have the same feature that Series X controllers have.
So PS5 doesn't have that cold storage solution, or does it? Or does it have? I haven't read anything about that.
We don't. Okay, here's the other. Okay, so it does offer supposedly cold storage solution for PS4 games. They have not technically fully said PS5 games can be transferred to it. I know they will not. They definitely won't play off of it, but they've never specifically said you could store them. But you can store PS4 games to it
and play.
Okay.
But
here's the other thing. Here's the other but. I'll let Vern go.
They require PS5 upgrades.
What?
Which means you're probably going to have to download an upgrade for each game that's on your hard drive when you plug it in. That's what the wording was. Or for all we know, maybe you have to re-download the games entirely that are PS5 versions of PS4 backward compatibility games, much like the 360 games work on the Xbox One X.
Oh, that is bizarre.
Whereas we know with the Xbox Series X, you can take your hard drive out of your current Xbox One X, plug it right into the Series X, and you're good to go.
Right.
for all those games that are on that hard drive.
And it's just weird that we have these questions and these consoles are coming out in, let me look, in 40 days or
don't know why
40,
they're
48
holding
days.
back.
Well, we don't have questions. for the
47
Xbox,
days.
so
47 days.
Xbox has been completely like.
No, they've
honest
been
about
more. They
everything.
definitely been more open. I agree. But
We just haven't seen gameplay.
yeah.
Right.
And even Digital Foundry was confused because they were like, "Look, we saw gameplay. We saw it running. It ran great. Like, I don't get it. What's
this
going?"
isn't in the notes. This isn't in the notes, but we got gameplay coming soon.
Oh yeah, so I heard about that.
Yeah. There's an embargo right now. I don't know when it's ending. It might be for tomorrow. It might be, which is Friday, if you're listening to this later.
Yeah.
We might be on Monday. It might be on Tuesday next week. I don't know. But a lot of journalists had actual Xbox Series X's that they were
Digital
playing
Foundry
on.
got them. Like,
Yeah. So we're gonna get a
everybody got 'em.
gameplay pretty soon. So that gameplay issue that's gonna be going away soon, hopefully.
Oh, and to throw it out there on another one, somebody was like, "It's not like all your games are going to get enhanced." And then who was it?
Oh yeah, and then John Linneman from Digital
Yeah.
Foundry said something along the lines
Yeah,
of,
if you want to
"This will
quote
be
the
an
tweet.
interesting tweet." Yeah, this will be an interesting tweet to come back to a little later. And he was talking specifically about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh wait, so you mean like the PS5 one's not getting enhanced, or
No.
Like Series X games, the Series X being able just to enhance games natively.
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, there was a lot of hubbub today about the Forza Horizon 3. I was like, what the fuck are you like getting all up in arms about that? They were just saying that it's gonna be delisted and the game is gonna run through back compat, and it's gonna be 4K 30, which is the original.
Okay, I got the tweet
running.
chain. I got the tweet chain here. Okay,
All right.
so John Linneman from Digital Foundry responded to the Digital Foundry tweet about getting the Xbox hardware and working on it, which apparently has been happening. I think they had it from Monday to Wednesday, is what I've heard. So they had it for 3 days to play with. So John Linneman retweeted that and put the googly eyes like, "Ooh, what's this?" And then another Twitter poster wrote, "What's the point? It will." Another Twitter poster wrote, "John, I beg you, please show Red Dead Redemption 2 on this console." And then there was another response from someone who said, "What's the point? It will still be locked to 30 frames per second, same visual quality, same resolution as One X, unless Rockstar releases a patch that enables 60 frames per second."
Mm-hmm.
And then another person wrote, "It's funny how people think this console will magically improve all their games out of the box, right? Unless proven otherwise, I'm a skeptic, and I like Xbox." And then John Linneman wrote back to all these people,
Who is that fool?
"You might want to bookmark this tweet for later. Just saying."
Yeah, that's
So,
interesting.
so it sounds like we could be getting some interesting upgrades that are automatic, should I say, rather than
BC.
yeah.
enhancements.
Yeah, BC enhancements that maybe they unlock a frame rate from 30 to 60. Maybe they up a resolution from 900p or 720p like we were getting, for those earlier games like Rise and Sunset Overdrive and Watch Dogs 2, games like Assassin's Creed 4 and Unity, Maybe those games get up res to 4 times or 2 times the resolution, So I'm really interested to see where this all goes.
Not gonna lie, I definitely saved a bunch of 720p games for later in case this thing kicks in and like they start to announce like the games that getting BC enhanced. So it's gonna be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then the Series S versions, those will get enhancements maybe to 1440p.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty exciting, man. And I know they have a launch title issue right now.
Right. Yeah.
The Halo hit them harder than anything, But all that other stuff is really intriguing, really enticing. And then we got some games at launch. I'm still excited about launch, but Sony's got the launch lineup, I think, compared to Microsoft. I think everyone's agrees.
Yeah, I don't know. I am now champion Falconeer. I think it's going to be amazing, and I'm not even joking. Because somebody sold it to me instantly.
Looks awesome, man.
Somebody said, "Look, it plays like Crimson Skies." I was like, "I'm in." Like, that's it. That's all I had to say. I'm fucking
I think
done.
Falconeer looks good. There's some good indie titles in the launch window. We got Falconeer. We got The Ascent, which is like a cyberpunk Diablo style game that looks really fun. You
good.
got
And
also,
real quick, can I bring
Medium.
up the meme? I completely agree with Vern. I think Sony's, if we're going to compare launch lineup, I think they have the better launch lineup. But it's hilarious that technically the Series X has more next-gen exclusives than Sony's PS5.
Announced,
yeah. Well, I mean, they need to fucking announce them like it's coming out very soon. Like, but as of right now, when it comes after all the like hard generation breaks, because all those games are now coming to PS4, Microsoft has more Series X
They
exclusives.
do, because they have Everwild, they have Fable,
Yeah.
they have Avowed, and also they have Forza Motorsport. Those were next gen
Series
console
X,
exclusives.
no-
Yeah.
I'm kind of weirded out that the fact we didn't get that at launch. I can't believe
Which
that
one?
they're-
Forza?
Yeah.
Well, the rumor was that Halo has been it's been pretty dire at 343, and that Turn 10 has actually been doing some development for them.
I wonder if that's still the case because they have so much stuff.
Did
going
you
on
see
with them.
those Warthog physics? Did you see those tire trails?
Yeah.
That looked like straight out of Forza Tech, right?
Yeah. Out of like maybe like the Horizon 4.
Might have been some playground, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's all hands on deck for Halo right now, and that's what's caused these other delays. And COVID-19 obviously has been a
Has
issue
definitely
with
hurt
remote
everybody.
development.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's still got some cool games coming in that launch window. It's just we needed Halo, man. We needed Halo. But think about this, man.
Halo would have been a nail. Like if they
We
would have
might-
had Halo at launch, it would have been like between the Bethesda thing and all
Yeah, but
like
listen to
Game
this,
Pass
man.
and how it's. If they had Halo, it would have been the like no fuck like I'm
Everyone
sorry,
was
Miles
like-
Morales is whatever. Like it's Spider-Man's great, but it's not. It's paid DLC and
But we got
it
some
has a
other things
shitty
that
upgrade
drop.
path.
There's that rumored Gears 5 DLC.
The
I don't think that's
Hive
gonna be a
Busters
thing.
DLC.
Yeah, there's that.
I
And also,
want that, man.
yeah, and then 2021 is going to be good now, man. If you got Halo in 2021, and I think there's a good chance we're going to see Starfield in 2021. I think it's 2021. And the reason I think it's 2021 is because Bethesda Studios, not ZeniMax, but the specific developer Bethesda who worked on Elder Scrolls and Fallout officially. Todd Howard doesn't show games unless they're about to come out. And this game's been in development for 4 or 5 years, you know?
Right.
So I think they're going to come out and they're going to show it, and it's going to be available in the same year they show it. I would not be surprised if next E3, if E3 comes back, we'll see what happens with all this shit. If next E3, I think we're going to see Starfield. I think they're going to say it's launching that year.
I mean, the first 3 games, I think, besides Halo, that I think will be ready first. Maybe is like Horizon. Another Horizon. The game has to be ready because they're already like 2-3 years into it.
Yeah, we could see a new Horizon this year, coming next year.
Yeah, like Hellblade. I think possibly.
Hellblade's off. I think Hellblade is not 2021.
No, maybe 2022, but
Yeah,
they should at least show something by that E3. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, we'll see stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
Fable's not coming out in 2021. Avowed isn't coming out in 2021. I don't think Hellblade's coming out then either, you know.
Yeah.
But 2021 can end up being pretty good if you got the Psychonauts 2, you got Halo, and then you also got if they get Starfield out that year, and who knows what else. Rumor is that the other Arcane studio might have something for 2021 that hasn't been announced as well.
Yeah, those are 2 projects they're working on, right?
Yeah, well, the rumor is that it's a game about vampires. So
Oh, that'd be cool.
yeah. So we'll see what happens with that too. But I think 2021 might actually end up being a pretty good year now. We just don't know what's in it, you know?
It could be like a repeat of maybe Xbox One a little bit with Horizon 2 and Master Chief Collection came out, and so like
Yeah.
it'll be like Halo 5. I mean Infinite. I'm sorry, and Horizon
5.
Can't keep up with these numbers anymore.
I know. They should just
I
call
do
it
think
the Horizon World.
I'll be honest. I think with E3 being iffy next year, I think the Game Awards is going to be packed with Microsoft stuff.
Yeah, we don't even know when the
I think
initiative game is gonna
Sony as well. I don't because Sony's not going to have an event. I think the Game Awards might be our like the closest thing we get to an E3.
Yeah,
because
Could be.
it's something you can do digitally.
And Sony's set for 2021, man.
Yeah.
They got a hot 2021. It looks good. They got Ratchet and Clank, Horizon, and God of War in 2021.
Yeah.
That is
as long as nothing gets delayed, that's fucking insane lineup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
Got any more news?
Let's see. Taco Bell X Microsoft contest goes live today. So if you do not have a Series X pre-order, Steph, you can go to Taco Bell, get a drink, and get a code.
Good.
And try to chance to win a Series Xer. And when you do win that Series X, because I know you're a lucky man,
right?
You could use the Xbox Family Settings app, now available on iOS and Android. I don't know if y'all saw this or opened the article. I thought it was cool. You can actually sit there and see the exact time. Like if you know, a lot of people did that $2.99 Xbox. You know, they're buying their kids. So
it's true. You paying that $25 a month for all access. You don't want your kids to play things other than Super Lucky's Tale.
No, but you can like literally on your phone. You'd be like, oh, let me check. Oh, they've watched 45 minutes of TV and they've played like an hour and a half of Fortnite. Stop. They're done for the day. Like you can do that on your phone.
They'll be like, why did they only watch 20 minutes of Cinemax?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I ain't raising no one pump chump. Let me add more time to Cinemax, less time to gaming.
Yeah, wow.
Speaking of Super Lucky's Tale, did y'all play new Super Lucky's Tale on Game Pass yet?
No, I'm going through the first one because I have.
No. Skip the first one.
Go
straight to new Super Lucky's Tale.
I know, but
go straight. No, it is great. I want Microsoft to acquire Playful. They nailed the controls in new Super Lucky's Tale. Like the game or not, the controls, they nailed it. It feels great. Like that's some good platforming.
Yeah, that'd be a good. I mean, it's surprising that they didn't. I think they didn't want to be acquired, or they said they didn't.
They don't. Yeah, from what I've
weird
heard,
because they're having like money issues before, and
they especially are now. But supposedly, when I was at E3 over a year ago, I spoke with the head of the studio actually as I was playing new Super Lucky's Tale on the Switch, and I said, "Y'all got anything else coming around the corner?" And they said, "Well, we got our first like real AAA game coming out that we're working on." But it's been silent ever since. So I don't know if the funding fell or if they fell through or they're trying to figure out what to do. I still think that's a studio that could be picked up, acquired by someone. I don't know if it's going to be Microsoft because they have relationships with Microsoft as well as Facebook since they did the Oculus game for the original Lucky's Tale. They get relationships with Nintendo. You know, they who knows? I could see a team. I could see Google picking them up for Stadia. You know, I could see that.
Yeah.
So they could go anywhere. But I think they're a pretty talented studio. I mean, they've only made that one game over and over again, but they got it down now. You know, like it took them 3 times.
Yeah,
but they got it. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be good for another like a Conquer or a Banjo game. They wanted.
Gosh, I think if they worked with Rare on Banjo, they could do a really good job. Yeah, I think they could, given the right funding.
Definitely.
So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see.
But I think that's all the news, right?
It's all the news. Yeah,
it's a lot of news.
Yeah, a lot of news. It's a good list.
So
good list.
I want to hear Steph.
Just real quick. We're at hour 50.
I got here for the Steph first off. What was your Series X pre-order experience like?
I knew it was what time it was going to be, and I stopped what I was doing because I was at work, and I want to say it was 3 minutes after the time, and every website that I tried to use did not work. When I say did not work, I mean like the page just wouldn't load. Not like like it didn't work, and I had to do it on my phone. So, but it didn't work. But you know, only reason I kind of really was trying was because of Cyberpunk. And I feel like it might get delayed again. So
who knows?
I'm not really
You
I'm not really
know,
that upset.
I actually feel good about Cyberpunk. I think it's going to happen. You know why? Because
Why
they had the third episode of the Night City Wire or whatever that was,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and they didn't announce a delay. And I feel like that would have been the time they did it. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel good about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, they've had over a year of delay at this point, so I think they're fine.
I think they're going to do it. Now we're not going to get the Series X and S and PS5 versions. It's going to be the old console versions in backwards compatibility on the new consoles for sure. They've announced that. So the other stuff isn't coming until later, and it's going to have ray tracing and stuff, just like Witcher 3 is going to have. So that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, man. They're gonna have Cyberpunk and Witcher 3 both on Series X.
And S, yeah, and PS5.
Yeah, and once they enhance both of them, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, maybe I'll finally finish The Witcher 3.
You
Yeah,
haven't beat it yet?
Dude, like, I played that game for probably 35, 40 hours, and then I just never came back to it. And every time I try to come back to it, it's like, I can't. I want to start it over, but then I play the beginning, and I'm like, shit, I played this beginning 3 times already. I don't want to play it again, you know?
yeah.
But if that shit's ray traced in 60 frames per second or something, maybe it'll finally get me to finish it. I don't know. We'll see.
Mhm.
I like the game. I just haven't finished it.
Too much to do, so little time.
Yeah. I did the same thing, and I want to say I played it consistently for like a year or however long it was, and I didn't play it for like a year and a half or 2 years. Went back and played it, and literally played like the last 15 minutes of the game. And beat it.
Did you play the
I was like,
expansions too?
I started the expansions, but I didn't finish them. So
Well, you should save the expansions for the upgrade, I guess.
well, I played it on PC, so
Okay.
that's how long it was because when
Yeah,
I
but
bought it on
you can
PC,
play
it
the
was
expansions separately. You don't have to. You don't have to bring your save over. They can create a character for you for the expansions.
yeah.
So you can still do that. If did you get to pre-order Series X though? I know you said you had trouble. Did you get one?
No. I never did. So
Oh
I'm okay
man,
with it.
yeah,
I waited on the One X. I can wait on this. I think I got
yeah.
One X
I
for,
think
like,
there's
2
only
years.
2 Series X exclusives that were announced, right? Series XS. I think it's
Yeah,
just
what were they?
that the around launch at least. It's
Yeah.
the medium is one, and I want to say the Ascent is the other.
Yeah, right.
Maybe Call of the Sea. That might be one that's not coming out on the last gen consoles. I don't know. I'm not for sure about that, but I think at least 2 of them. So you're not gonna be missing out on much.
Yeah, you actually be better off probably waiting for like a bundle. Like,
Yeah, I'm not really rushing into it. To be
I think
honest,
we've
I
learned.
may get an S at Christmas time for my kids
Yeah.
to see what happens. I'm not
Well, I
sure
think
though.
what we've learned is that there's no reason to get these next gen consoles right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the launch doesn't look very appealing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, like
Unless
this is the
you just want that
worst.
experience, and you're
This
like
is the
us,
worst console launch of every
definitely.
generation.
The
from a
consoles are dope,
game's
but the
perspective.
games-
Yes.
No,
We'll see
that's what I'm
the
saying.
experience
Yeah,
is like, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like the weakest Xbox launch I've ever seen. It's crazy because like
I think
OG was
out of
good.
everything, like PlayStation's weak, Xbox is
Mhm.
like if PlayStation's
I-
better, but launch I think they're weak. Like
Really?
I'm sorry, Miles Morales
What-
and
What were the launch
in a-
titles for the PS4, Dustin?
Yeah, PS4 was
Knack,
worse, I think.
Killzone,
Uh-huh.
and then
And
third-party
Resogun.
games,
and Resogun.
then you have some good third.
Those are your 3 games, right? Okay,
Yeah.
PS5 has the Demon Souls remaster, which looks awesome. It's got Miles, which actually looks really good. It's got Destruction All Stars, which looks
It's interesting.
it looks fun. It's gonna bomb because why are you gonna pay $70 for a multiplayer game?
Yeah, that's true.
And then Sackboy, which actually looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
And it comes bundled with the Astrobot game, which actually looks pretty fun as well. So I don't know. I think the launch lineup looks better on PS5 than PS4.
I mean, I guess it's all opinion. I don't know. It's not, and I'm buying one. I'm paying it off tomorrow. But I don't know. Like I look at both. I'm just like, man, I was so much. Maybe I'm just comparing it because Xbox has usually had a fairly good launch every launch, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
comparing
yeah,
it to.
well, and they could have done that this time if they really wanted to. They could have delayed some titles for launch, like Sony
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And they could have. I mean, they put out Tell Me Why at this time period. That could have been held for launch if they really wanted to.
Yeah. Bleeding
even-
Edge as well.
Bleeding Edge, they could have let that simmer for a little longer and brought it out a little more full fledged at launch. You know,
Yeah.
they could have waited on Grounded for launch. They could have waited even on as far back as Ori and the Will of the Wisps. They could have held that back for launch if they really wanted to.
I know.
Flight Simulator could have been something that they made for Xbox as well.
But we got Gears Tactics.
Gears Tactics is going to be at launch,
Yeah.
but that's something they could have not put on PC and had at launch. So you string all these things together, and you realize they could have had a big launch, but they have a service called Game Pass, and they wanted to make sure games were consistently coming out on it. So that's why they didn't do it. So if they had stuck with the previous model and had Halo Infinite, this would have been probably the best launch ever for an Xbox console.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's mostly for me. It's gonna be kind of like a BC machine with like Game Pass mixed in. So it's gonna have a lot of stuff to play anyway. But it's just like it's mostly for for the person who wants to see all the new tech and everything kind of upgraded and see how it looks.
Yeah. But I think Game Pass is what kind of caused it to not have that hard, easier launch titles thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and
double-edged sword. What you're saying?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be a fun console to have at launch. I'm obviously going to play it more than my PlayStation, just because that's where I play my games, you know. And I'm gonna place a lot of these backwards compatible games on the Series X finally for the first time, probably. So, and they're going to be better experiences with better graphics. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm doing that with AC Odyssey. That's going to be full 4K 30. It's going to look good.
Well, I thought it was 60. Is it not 60 frames?
No, the one that's 60 is Valhalla.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We don't know about Odyssey.
Hey, they're all the same to me, man.
Yeah, but no, there's a chance. Maybe they unlock the frame rates on Origins and Odyssey, and we get 60 frames per second versions of that and backwards compatibility. No, it could happen. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with that stuff. We'll probably know more next week. About that
I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome.
Exciting. Yeah.
But so Steph, you didn't get a console, huh?
Nah, but I'm like I said, I'm good with it, man.
Will, did you get one?
Yeah, well, I did the same thing as Steph. I was waiting for the thing to go online at like 11 o'clock on the dot. I tried first thing was Microsoft Store. Tried to go to that, get the full payment one, but then I see nothing moving. So then I tried to do the pay-as-you-go thing, which didn't work either. And then the Target, which was my second plan, which it seemed to work, and then it didn't work, so it kind of got out of the cart, and it just never seemed to work. Best Buy was like on hold for whatever reason, like practically the whole day until like midday.
They rolled out their orders actually at Best Buy.
Yeah,
in small like amounts.
It's smarter. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I was finally able to get one because IGN Deal posted a quick link, and I was like, I just zipped through it. I just went to Amazon, go to cart, purchase. Luckily, it was like logged in, so I didn't have to like register or anything. And I was good to go. So, but to be honest with you, I don't even know if I'm still getting it because you know how Amazon is. So it's a roll of the dice.
Did you get the email saying that you might not get it for Amazon?
No, but it's just like
then I think you're gonna get it. Then I think you're gonna get it.
Chances are high.
Well, no, some people got.
I did not get it. Oh, I'll put it this way: me and Jason ordered at the exact same time when I saw it go up because we were just sitting there fucking refreshing it. I did not get the email on my account. He did.
Yeah, and I didn't get the email either for that one. So I think if you didn't get the email, you might be in good shape because they didn't send it out to everyone. For the PS5 pre-orders, they sent it out to everyone.
Okay, I mean, we'll see. I mean, probably not going to get it on.
Fingers crossed.
You might have a shot.
Yeah. We'll see.
What about you, Justin?
So me and Jason got to GameStop at like 5:46 in the morning, somewhere in there, and I sat outside till 11 o'clock. And the guy came out at 10:30 or 10:40 to tell us that he had one Series X and two Series S's, and that's all they had. And there was 30 people in line.
That's rough, man.
Thankfully, I was the first person there, and I was because the lady that came behind me was there at 7 in the morning. She like came up like an hour after I did and just pulled out, just hung out. But I felt bad because I could tell her she was sitting out there for her boyfriend, but she they wanted a Series X. But Jason sat out with me the whole time, and when we found out it was just one, it was like I just looked at him. I was like, dude, just drive home, put down, pull up like fucking every browser you can, and let's fucking like we'll have to do something. And thankfully he was able to get one at Target. And it seems like a lot of people were able to get Target to eventually go through. But like even Target was like every system. I mean, I think everybody knows like everything was crashing. Like it so anyway, so of course I'm sitting there and we're like, fuck it. You got yours, payment got taken out, I got mine, fully paid off. Cool, we're set. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can get one on Amazon. Fuck it. And then we both got one reserved on Amazon. And then so I have right now technically we have 4. But I have I am like he has a friend where he works that's buying his off of him, and we're not marking him up. We're not doing a Vern. We're just like, we have friends. So if we did that.
Well, I don't have any friends who want one.
Yeah.
That live close by.
Yeah.
So. But
he's fucking stuck.
I mean, I think $10.99 is a deal.
It is a deal for PS5. It's a big deal. And then I have a friend at work that's debating on it right now. And what's hilarious about my friend at work is he's a huge PlayStation gamer. And the Bethesda news is what made him go, you know what? I'm thinking about going to Xbox.
Wow, that's crazy.
And like, because I'm just like, dude, like like the pre-order's there, but I gave him a time. I was like, dude, I'm not sitting on this thing for like, because I will cancel the pre-order if I don't get anybody that wants it, because I'm not spending that money on it.
Well, they saved that shit for Monday, man. They timed that on purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
But okay, so I
sold it too.
Honestly, like both paths sucked, because at least you could argue that at least everybody was fighting through the same bullshit. With Microsoft versus Sony, which was just like, yo, we'll give you plenty of time. Don't worry. You'll have plenty of time. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And then, bam, gone. Oh, fuck. Microsoft's approach. Guys, 11 o'clock Eastern, United States, get ready because everything's going down. Our store, Amazon, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, you name it, we're crashing it. Like, let's do this. Like, because that's the issue is you have like when you give a specific time, you're telling everybody log in to 5 different browsers and get ready to hit everything and watch the ISP. Essentially, Microsoft DDoSed every store.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So my story. I have 2 stories. Well, first off, I did the GameStop thing like you, Dustin. Maria and I, we the night before the pre-orders, we went to GameStop, and I just walked in. I was like, hey, how many consoles you're getting? Can you tell me? He's like, I can't tell you. I said, well, I've heard some places are only getting maybe 3, 2, maybe even 1, and some 6, 12. And he was like, well, you're pretty close on that first one. So he pretty much confirmed that it was going to be 3 at that store, I think. So I was like, "Holy shit! I better get there early." So we're like, "Oh, maybe we'll get there at 7." And the guy in the store was like, "I know at least one person's coming at 7." So like, okay. And then Maria, my wife, she's like, "We should probably go earlier. You want to do 6?" I said, "You know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to go at 5 and I'm going to go look." And she's like, "You know what?" She was like, "Hell, I'm coming with you." So we went there at 5 o'clock in the morning. And we were the first people there.
Nice.
Just 10 minutes later, someone else shows up. 20 minutes later, another person shows up. So if I didn't get there by 5:30, another person came at 5:45. If I didn't get there by 5:45, we wouldn't have gotten one. We wouldn't have gotten one. So because it was only 3 at the store, and they had a sign out in the front. It said 3 Series X, 3 Series S. And all these people just came up and got in the line, and I wasn't going to tell them, "Hey, you're not going to get your console," because I didn't want to start a fight. But they just didn't know. And then gradually, one by one, they came up to the door, and they were like, "Holy shit! what the hell? And everyone was so pissed, man. Everyone was so pissed. Well, anyway, Maria got hers about an hour before.
Can I add on to that story real quick?
They gave out a voucher,
Yeah.
So we were good there. So I let her stay there at GameStop and finish off the pre-order. And I went home.
I would have told my GameSpot dude, because because they had one, right? He comes out. We didn't get no voucher. He comes out at 10:40, and he's like, "Hey guys," because there was 30 people on fucking line. Y'all just come over here. Don't worry about your position. We have one and 2 S's. I'm sorry, that's all we got. If you want to buy accessories, stay in line. But we're just straight up like, yeah, don't even worry about it. 2.
Oh god, that's rough. Man.
Sorry, I know. It was just fucking because he was like, just gather around. Don't worry about your spots. Just come around.
Seemed like it was be good news.
Y'all fucked.
Yeah,
well, anyway, I left Maria there, and I was like, okay, I gotta get home. And just a little background: I am really crazy about getting Xbox rewards points. I am a nut about that. I do every single Game Pass quest. I do every online quest. Like, I go crazy with this shit. And I have gathered together. I am up to now $615 in Microsoft credit right now. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna get on that Xbox store, and I'm gonna.
How much can you claim at once, though?
You can claim all of it. Okay. Well, anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm waiting for the Microsoft store to launch. I got in like right away. I was all ready. I was at the checkout screen. And it just kept loading and loading and loading for like an hour, man. And I didn't know what. I was like, "Holy shit, this really sucks." And it got me to this point where it said, "Okay, you have a problem with your order." So it wasn't a stock issue. It wasn't a store side like stock issue or with the servers. It was something else, Yeah. So I was like, holy shit, I'm not gonna be able to spend this money. There's no way I can do this, but luckily I got in with the Amazon order. So I have my Amazon order, and I come to find out after like 6 hours of phone calls with the Microsoft Store support team. During that whole sequence, it broke my Microsoft Store account.
What?
Yes. I cannot purchase anything on the Microsoft Store right now. I can buy games, like as far as digital games, but I cannot buy any physical items on the Microsoft Store with my credit, with my store credit.
Oh, because it got hung up in the server or something?
Yeah, something. So they are currently refreshing my Microsoft Store credit, my Microsoft Store account. So on Monday, apparently it's going to be fixed, and then I can use that credit. But I'm boned as far as using it towards the Series X unless I wait until another launch group. So my plan is to use it toward the two of the 1 terabyte hard drive upgrades.
Okay.
That way my wife can have one and I can have one. So hopefully those still exist and I can get one of those pre-orders in. But at least I got a console coming, hopefully, from Amazon.
Yeah. You can do that and maybe buy a controller or something.
Yeah, I can. I can figure out how to spend the cash.
Yeah, that's great. Crazy
but
stuff.
yeah, man, this is crazy. I was so upset. I was like screaming at my computer. No.
Yeah. I think a lot of us were the same way.
But it was a fun war.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the fight.
Oh man, it was brutal. It was brutal.
But I hope you all listening got your Xbox consoles or had fun at least fighting for one.
Yeah, and if not, don't sweat it. Try to get it the same day this releasing. Try to maybe physically not.
Yeah, I did talk to a Microsoft employee in a specific place. I can't say where, but I did talk to one, and he said I believe they're planning at least to have 20% of the initial shipment be available day one for non-pre-orders.
What's 20% of one?
Well, no, I think GameStop got lower allocations than everyone else. I don't know why.
Because they're closing hundreds of stores.
No, that could be it. That could definitely be it. No, but I believe they did get very low allocations compared to everyone else. Because the talk is that the Series X and S are in higher production. They're going to be more available than even the PS5. So I think these pre-order numbers were pretty damn good. Is what ended up happening. And they're also doing a worldwide launch, whereas Sony is doing a staggered launch.
So
That's weird.
I think that's part of it. So we'll probably have a lot of stock roll in over the next few weeks after launch, so they can be available for Black Friday and for Christmas. So I wouldn't stress just yet. I think there's going to be consoles available. If you want a console at launch, you can camp out. You might be able to get one. To get one.
It's my favorite
well,
360
fashionably.
story. I stood out in front of Target for 14 hours to get a 360.
Yeah, I mean, and I know people are scared to go out because of pandemic and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
if you're willing to brave that storm, you might be able to get one. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I think that's done for Xbox stuff for the week.
Yeah.
Is there any anime you've been watching, Steph?
Man, it's getting so late right now at this point. I'm gonna have to hold this.
We're gonna have to hold this off till next week. All right. Well, I mean, I think we've had a full show for sure.
that's a big podcast. Yeah.
It was a great show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Who was that
Eric,
said was gonna do a 3-hour show?
we're about 2:10 right now, but. Well, we appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. Please join us next week on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully,
Yes.
Maybe we'll do Thursday. I don't know. Probably Wednesday though. But until then, y'all take it easy. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll see you.
Nice
then.
talking with y'all.
Yep. Good
Nice
to have
talking
you,
with
Vern.
you too, bro.